everybody out there, this is Seto, and today for you guys we're going to talk about a topic that I've heard players talk about this before, and I know people have been talking about the fact, and I will talk about it when I go to Korea most likely, because I'm going to be playing on the OCG and everything, but I'll probably be talking about like once I experience it, maybe why the OCG and TCG should come back together, or why they should stay separate. We shall see once I've experienced the OCG, because I've only experienced the TCG. But that's not today's video. Today's video is something that I have been thinking of for quite some time, especially for somebody that's going to travel and is going to live in a different country, which is the OCG. And that is, should we have, number one, like Pokemon does and other card games, have simultaneous releases, okay? And what I mean by that is when the OCG gets their release, we get our release at the same exact time. Maybe a day or so apart, that's fine, I understand, but very close together instead of these 4 to 5 to 6 month blocks where we have to wait for these cards to come out, which is annoying. But it helps with somebody that's going back and forth between, different worlds. The number two thing, which I really want to touch on, especially for people that are moving around, because I live in the TCG. I've played in the TCG my entire life. However, when I go over to the OCG, all of these cards are junk. They are pointless. Now, there was a time in the OCG's history that they could use TCG cards. I believe this was up until Zexal. They could do that, because I clearly remember even back it was in Spellbook Prophecy format, when they were coming over here from Japan and playing in like our California regionals or California YCSs and playing their OCG cards over here, but they had their translations and everything. And you don't see that anymore really, because you're not allowed to play with OCG cards in the TCG, and you're not allowed to play with TCG cards in the OCG. Like I said, there was a time you could use OCG cards in the TCG, but you no longer can do that. And it really sucks. I think the reason Konami does it is, number one, they don't want you going and trying to, I don't want to say rape, or more, I guess you could say, take all the good, the cheaper cards that are over in Korea, and over in Japan, and trying to bring them over here, because they're commons and rares. Look up Dragonic Diagram. That was like a common, and over here is a secret. They don't want you, they want their money. Konami wants their money, so they're like, oh, you can't go get that common. But it's so stupid, because you see, I think, Magic the Gathering, you're allowed, they have like simultaneous releases, and on top of that, I think like all of their cards, you can use any of them. If I remember correctly, you can use their cards. Like, the card pool is worldwide. It's not just exclusive OCG, exclusive TCG, if I am correct in that statement. If I am wrong, I do apologize. But I think it could be something that would be really good. However, I think Konami doesn't want to do it because they want to milk. They want money. And I understand that. You want money. But for people that are moving in this age where we have people moving from TCG to the OCG for jobs, or just in general people moving around, if they want to take their Yu-Gi-Oh stuff, they can't take it. It's useless over there. And I think, just in general, if you think about it, it would honestly bring the OCG and TCG closer together as a community, instead of being these two separate entities that only come together once a year. You could have maybe possibly like, hey, you know what, I want to go visit Japan. Well, I can take my TCG deck to go play over in that tournament over there. And I don't mind if they have two separate ban lists even. That is fine. That is understandable. But I think it would just be open the community gates up more and make this game more of a community in general, and not just TCG and OCG as two separate things, two separate animals. And literally nowadays it feels like they're two separate games altogether because of the card pool, the card ratios, the ban lists, and about half a dozen other things. The time sets are released, it's just, they feel like they've drifted more and more and more and more apart over the years, especially since 2013 and that ban list where the OCG and TCG separated after Dragon Ruler format. While I agree for the most part that that was a correct move, because of a lot of reasons. Ash Gishki Kraken. Yeah, if you guys don't know about Gishki Kraken, you guys need to look that up. But that happened a lot of times. So I'm glad that the ban lists are separate, but I think that it would be a good idea if we just had simultaneous releases, because number one, that brings the communities closer together. That means that we both have access to the card pools right away. We don't have to wait, and it's nothing about like, oh, I don't want to wait for these cards. I can wait for these cards to come out. It's the fact that sometimes you gotta wait 6 months. That's a freaking long time. But, you know, over in the OCG, those cards are doing their thing. By the time they get over here to us, the game's completely changed. The meta sometimes has completely changed. Those cards have been power creep. They are useless. They are not as good. And it's really, honestly, it's boring opening up boxes now to some extent. Besides the fact that we don't sometimes know, oh, these TCG exclusive cards, how will they affect the Yu-Gi-Oh game, like Burning Abyss, Cosmo, and possibly Vindred. You know, we know what they're going to do. It's not like, I remember as a kid, you open up these Yu-Gi-Oh packs and you didn't know what was in them. And when you saw these hollow cards, you're like, oh, let me try this out because I don't know how good this is. By the time the OCG stuff gets over here, we've already broken the meta for that deck for the most part. To some degree, we've already cracked it open. We know what's going to be inside. We have an idea of what's going to be high rarity, everything. And it's fine in that aspect because it prepares our money. We can save up money if we say, oh, well, they'll probably rarity bump this because it's a great card. Thus, I probably need to save up 50 to 60 bucks to buy this card, or 150 maybe to buy a playset of this card. So, honestly, in that aspect, it is good. Because for us over here in the TCG, we can save our money up for that reason. But I'm not even talking about rarity spikes, really. Like, I can understand why people get mad about, oh, the cards randomly spike because Konami jacks a common up to a secret rare, or, you know, a rare up to a secret, which they do stupid things like that for money grabs. And I understand people don't like that. I'm not talking about that even. I'm just talking about the fact that I feel for the Yu-Gi-Oh community as a whole, worldwide, it would be beneficial if we had a simultaneous releases of product, and B, at least for the most part, be able to use OCG cards in the TCG and TCG cards in the OCG. I understand why Konami will probably never do this because of money reasons, etc., etc. Maybe they won't do simultaneous releases of sets because of card artwork, and it takes time to, I guess, censor cards, apparently. So I understand that. I understand the differences. I understand the cultural differences. I understand that they print cards cheaper over in the OCG because money's a little bit more harder to come by, I guess. But I got it. I understand it. It's just, this is somebody that wishes this would happen, though he knows that this will never happen, especially for somebody that's going to be living in the OCG for over a year and a half, and he's not going to really be able to play Yu-Gi-Oh! It sucks, because I'm not going to go buy OCG stuff when I have the exact same cards over in the TCG and I can play when I get back home. But if they were combined, he wouldn't mind doing so. This is just a thought, something to speculate about. I would love to hear your thoughts down below. I know, and I've brought this up to other people before, because I know for people, especially the using OCG cards in TCG and TCG cards in OCG, because the reason I even bring that up is because I know for military families, this is a big deal. I know a guy of mine who's been in the military for what, 3-4 years now. He just got out, and he was stationed over in Okinawa. Okinawa is part of the OCG land, and he was stationed also, I think, around somewhere else in Asia, I forget. But he was stationed over there for 2 years, and he couldn't play Yu-Gi-Oh! He had all the Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards he'd been playing before he left. He came back. He was a buddy of mine. He came back. Now he can't play it. Because, why? Because it's two separate entities, and he didn't want to invest the money. But if they were the same things, like he said, I would have played it as a hobby in my downtime when I'm off duty. So, just a thought, and I think it would open up a lot of interesting things and bring the community together, because I feel the Yu-Gi-Oh community as a whole for a very long time has been separated into two entities, and I feel it would be beneficial for many other reasons which I haven't even stated if they were brought closer together, as instead of being kept as two separate things, because it literally feels like they're two separate games for the most part. But tell me your thoughts down below, guys, and until next time, take care, have fun dueling, good luck dueling, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care, everybody, and tell me your thoughts down below on this topic. Do you feel they should come together and whatnot? But yeah, tell me your thoughts down below, guys. I'll see you guys next time.